Hey, this is Kirk, the Bariatric Carnivore. Well, last week I couldn't put out a video because my computer broke down, but I got a nice upgrade and I'm able to start doing it again and looking forward to trying out different things. One thing I found out, I've been really looking at, is if you want to die this year, break your hip. And when I say break your hip, I mean not like, have a tragic fall or, slide off a mountain or something like that. I mean, if you're mobile and you have a hip fracture because of an accident or trauma or something like that, that's one thing. I mean, you can heal up from that. It's when, because of frailty, osteoporosis, etc., where your hip just breaks because it's brittle, that's a death sentence. And it's not a nice way to die, because what will happen is you will spend months in bed in a diaper, and the frailty will only increase while you're not mobile, and it's a killer. I mean, it kills almost all people that have frailty related to hip fractures within a year, and it's a slow, ghastly, lingering death. So I don't recommend it. So how do you prevent it? Well, one peculiar way of doing it is by working yourself up to being able to hop for about 30 seconds or so, and just jumping up and down for a little bit of time can actually put additional stress on the bones, and they grow. See, the bones, I mean, we kind of think that, bones are just like rocks, because we see fossils and we see them, skeletons and stuff like that, and we think that they're just this structure that's just always solid, and that's not true. They are lattice, and they're growing structures, and they're kind of like muscles in a way, and they're mostly protein. So, when you're trying to maintain, if you've got osteoporosis and you're trying to build bone structure, you need adequate protein, which means, and we don't absorb it, as well the older we get. So we actually need more as we get over 60 than we did when we were 30, because our body can't absorb it. So, the more protein you're getting from meat sources, the better off you're going to be as far as building bone, hopping up and down, staying active, resistance exercise, all work together to maintain bone strength. And like I said, you just don't want to have that hip fracture, because that is a ghastly way to go. One other thing that I've been studying and finding out more about, that to me is absolutely shocking, is the important effect of creatine when it comes to maintaining bone health. And we often think of creatine as this thing that only the gym bros take. And I remember when creatine was kind of first talked about back in the 80s, they were trying to ban it from the NFL and all this other stuff, because all these muscle-bound dudes were taking it, and people thought it was a steroid. No, it's not a steroid. It's an amino acid that really helps build muscle. And we used to think that the standard dose was about 5 grams a day. Well, we're finding out that actually doing a little bit more of it can actually improve things in other different ways. Creatine does a lot of different stuff. It really helps with brain health, particularly when you've had a horrible night's sleep. So if you've had a really bad night's sleep, boosting your creatine dose up to 20 grams scattered throughout the day can really help maintain mental clarity during that time of intense mental stress due to fatigue. But 10 grams or so a day can really help with building bone. And that to me was kind of fascinating, with just how powerful that is. And it means when you're taking creatine, creatine's a natural thing. You can only get it from eating meat, and it takes about 2 kilograms of red meat in order to get about 5 grams of creatine into your system. Your body produces about 2 grams, so that's certainly adequate, if you're eating a couple of pounds of meat a day. But if you're not, supplementing, and creatine is just one of those very cheap supplements. I mean, you can get a bag of it for $10 that's got over 100 servings, and They come in little 5-gram scoops. You put a little bit in your coffee. It doesn't taste like anything. And it's remarkable, how many good things happen from getting extra creatine in your diet. And there doesn't seem to be any downsides to it. Initially they thought, well, it's going to create this androgen that's going to cause you to lose your hair. And they've proven that, no, that's not true. You're not going to lose your hair. There's no steroid effect. It helps the muscles maintain more water, it creates power, etc. But when you start getting into higher dosages, you're going to see more benefit from it. Particularly, the benefit for bone health for those of us, when you get older, bones are going to weaken. And maintaining bone strength makes sense. You're getting less protein, you can't absorb it as well, etc. So adding in, 10 grams of creatine into your coffee, a couple of, if you have a couple of cups of coffee and you have two, put a scoop in each one, you've got 10 grams of creatine into your system, and that's like an extra safety margin to help maintain bone health. It's going to help you get more muscle and make you stronger. So all these things all kind of work together. Now, they're not free. Just because you take the creatine isn't going to make you more muscular. You've got to exercise too in order to make that work, but it augments the exercise and activity. Another way of maintaining your hips from breaking is by movement, walking and stuff like that, but also the lateral movement from side to side. And this is where playing games like tennis, paddleball, pickleball, and stuff like that, or just practicing moving side to side from time to time can really be, dancing, etc. Just make your hips stronger, more flexible, and, put some stress on those joints so that they don't break, so you don't end up in a diaper, dying a horrible death over the course of a year. This is Kirk, the Bariatric Carnivore. If you like this message, please hit like and subscribe. Join this channel of other like-minded folks. I try to put out a message a couple times a week as long as I don't have a computer breakdown, and I will talk to you again soon.